Hello buddy, welcome back. I'm the Stretch Professor, and today we're going to be doing another coaching session for League of Legends. We're going to be looking at a Sona game today. So thank you very much for Howlin for the generous donation. I really appreciate it. You can access this Google Doc in the description. You can also find timestamps as well if you just want to jump straight to the game start or to the post game for anyone watching out there. If you would like a coaching session yourself, just email me at thestratchprofessor@gmail.com. We can set that up. It's just a $20 donation. Usually I can get them done in about 3 days, depending on how many are in queue currently. If you would like to watch more coaching videos, I have a playlist linked for you here. And if you would like some in-depth knowledge about specific champions, I have individual guides for a bunch of different supports, and I'm constantly adding more to that. I've got a bunch of those in queue as well. So a Sona one is in there also. Okay, so let's just talk real briefly about sort of pre-game Sona, what you should be thinking, what you should be doing as Sona, and then we'll go watch the game. I'll take some physical notes, and we'll bring it all together at the end in a good post-game. Okay, so as of 8.1, when this replay was submitted, Sona's in a pretty rough place, and a lot of it, she's been nerfed several times. Let me go ahead and let's pull her up real quickly. And it's important to know like where she has been, and then where I think she's going in 8.2. A little bit. I'm not going to go super in-depth about 8.2, but there are a couple of changes that I think will be useful to know. So, Sona was the best support at the beginning of the preseason, and she got nerfed a lot. So she got I think she got nerfed like 5 or 6 times, and every single mastery that she uses, or rune rather, also got nerfed. So her base heal got reduced by 17%, from 35 down to 30, which is massive. This got, well, that's like reduced by a 1/7. I guess that's like 14%. This got reduced by a 1/6, which is like 17%. So this is a massive, massive nerf to the shield and the heal. Like, it doesn't look like a lot. You know, it's just 5 here and 5 there, but it's a lot percentage-wise. Okay, and then also her armor got reduced, making her a lot squishier, and her base attack damage got reduced by 5, so her auto attacks do a lot less damage now. So this is 4 nerfs on one patch, which is pretty insane. But it still wasn't enough. So now they nerfed her Hymn of Valor 3 different times, or 2 different times, with a minor buff that doesn't matter because you don't build a lot of AP on her, typically. 15 extra mana cost. I mean, that's 33% more mana cost, which is massive. And they reduced the damage that it does by 50% at early levels. So that's 6 consecutive massive nerfs. 4 here that are significant, and then 4 here. Then also, Aerie got nerfed. Aerie got nerfed, Celerity, Scorch, Mana Flow Band, and the AP that you get off of Sorcery. So 5 different nerfs to the Sorcery tree. So she's had a total of 9 different nerfs. Both 11 different nerfs. 6 directly to her, and 5 on all of her masteries that she runs. And now they've nerfed Zombie Ward and Genius Hunter, which is 2 more. So she's had 13 nerfs in the preseason. So that's tough, okay? So that's the bad news. The good news is, like, you can still win with her. She is a good team fighter. The Relic Shield meta that has been going on has also starved her out because the harassment that you do early just doesn't matter because people just heal through it with Fleet Footwork, Targon's Brace, double Targon's Bottom from the support and the ADC, and Overheal. So all of that has just made poke irrelevant. So that has been taken out in 8.2. I doubt we're going to see any more Targon's bot lane once people figure that out. So her harass is going to stick. They did just buff her mana cost, so they reverted one of the Q changes, and this is one of the bigger ones. They lowered the cost from 60 to 50, which is a big deal. So that means you can harass a lot more with this early on. So all of that's really good news. They also nerfed Aftershock, which is really important because she has very bad matchups into all-in Aftershock champions early game. So like Leona, Shen, to a lesser extent Alistar, champions that can just get on her with Ignite and blow her up with Aftershock. It's pretty rough on her. So now that they have nerfed Aftershock so much, then that does help her out. So I think that she might be in a decent spot in 8.2 in terms of matchups against other enchanters, because she still does scale pretty well later into the game. So I think she might be a pretty decent matchup into Taric or Janna. in some places. So what you want to keep in mind when you're playing Sona, and I talk about this in my Sona guide, just a couple of real quick tips that you want to look for here. You want to always use your green shot in team fights on high priority targets. So you can't get to the back line and get their ADC, but you can get assassins or just someone trying to dive your ADC. So pay attention to your power core charges. Try to hit them with the green shot to reduce their damage by 25%. That's really important that you get that off, that you don't just waste it on like blue shots in team fights. Okay, so a little bit of extra damage is not the same as reducing a high threat damage by 25%. One other thing in lane that a lot of people don't realize is this heal and shield is very inefficient. It's just healing one person, even more so after the nerfs. So, I mean, this is like a 30 heal for 80 mana, which is a disgustingly bad bargain. Like, you don't want to do that. However, if you're healing 2 people for 60 and you're shielding them for 50, then all of a sudden you have 110 heal and shield for 80. That's another thing that sucks, is that nerf was not just 5, it was 10, because it affects 2 people, and it could affect a lot more people with the shield. But that is at least getting respectable when you're paying 80 for 110 of healing and shielding. And then, of course, that number goes up a lot to where eventually, you know, you're going to be healing for 220 and shielding for 250. So that's a total of 470, even on 2 targets. So 470 healing and shielding for 100 mana, and that's a pretty good bargain. So you want to get this leveled up as much as you can. This is your bread and butter for team fights. And when you're trading in lane, you want to do it in such a way that when you use your W, that both people are injured, and that it's in the middle of while you're trading, so that you're taking a hit so that you actually use that shield. So you can just go up and like auto attack, Q harass the enemy, and then when they try to hit you back, that's when you do your W to heal yourself and your ally. So you want to be, you know, making sure that you're getting 2 heals out of it, but then also that you're using the shield by actively using that W when they're trying to auto attack, trade back onto you. Okay, so those are the most important things, are that in team fights you're hitting people with green shots, and that you're maximizing the efficiency of Arya Perseverance, and ideally you're maximizing your Q so that you're hitting 2 people with your Q every time you cast it. Sometimes that's hard to do depending on how their support's positioning, but you can always control this one. So in a pinch, you know, you might have to heal 1 person with just a W, but it's really, really bad to do that, so you don't want to do that as much as possible. Okay. So I still recommend the same old runes: Airy, Mana Flow, Celerity, Scorch, Zombie Ward, Ingenious Hunter. You know, you could try to go like Guardian, Font of Life, Revitalize, Conditioning, that type of build, but she just scales so well with Airy because she has such great harassment early that I think you just have to go with this still, even though all of this has been nerfed. You still have to go with it. I think the build order you want to do is probably Frostfang into Redemption, then Ardent Censer, Athene's Unholy Grail, and Locket at the end. You could also do a Mikhail's at the end instead of Locket if you want to. Obviously, if you get Athene's, then you're not going to get the extra health regen off of Mikhail's, but it still has plus 20% healing and shielding, and it still has the cleanse effect, so I think it would still be worth it to do that. And this is flexible, you know. I think you should almost always go Ardent first, or Redemption first after the Ardent nerfs. Ardent's just not nearly as good to rush, and Redemption gives you some really good semi-global pressure. It's got 550 range, so if you're really paying attention to the minimap, you can influence fights in the mid lane, in the jungle, just anywhere around the map, you know, about half of the map. And with so many Fiestas going on, it helps a ton. Also, Redemption gives you a lot of mana regen early. It's 150% mana regen, which is very, very important, especially for Sona, who tears through that mana. You can go for a tier build if you want. I don't recommend that. I think that tier paying 750 gold for mana is really rough. I think if you go Redemption and just budget your mana a little bit better, then you should be fine. I mean, Frostfang, all of these give you mana regen, except for Locket, if you get that as a final item. You can rush Athene's, but once again, Athene's is not that great until you get a bunch of other mana regen items. So you could go something like Redemption into Athene's if you want to do that instead of Ardent. If your AD carry is really behind, you don't think the on-hit's going to benefit you as much. You could also go, you know, Redemption into Mikhail's if you think that, you know, they have like an Ash Arrow or a Thresh or just some other hard CC that you need to cleanse. You could go Mikhail's. So there are a few different itemization options. I think Frostfang is really the only option here. Coin is really bad, especially now The 8.2 changes. Frostfang's still pretty good. And late game, if you want to, you can upgrade it to the tier 4, although it's not a super efficient upgrade, so I would wait until later in the game to upgrade it at this point. It's pretty good. I think in lane you want to get 2 or 3 points in queue for harass, depending on how that's going. If you're able to stick the harass and you're really making progress to push them out of lane, you can go 3 points. If you're not really sticking a lot of harass, then you might just want to keep it at 2 points to start maxing your W. But you do want your W maxed out, by level, 9 or 10 in the game, because that's your best team fight option. So you want to make sure that you have that, pretty topped off and ready to go by the time you finish your redemption and your other plus healing item. And that's pretty much it for the pregame. Let's go ahead and jump right in here and watch the game. Alright, so we'll go ahead and fire this up. Manual camera. Let's see.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds to minion spawn.
Be careful for invade. Alright, good. You've got Airy, you got Mana Flow Ban. I assume you're going the standard build. Now, I don't know if can't tell which runes you have. Doesn't look like you have Celerity. I would definitely go Celerity. I don't know, maybe you went the Overdrive or whatever that can give you the CDR. I can't tell, but you should have Celerity. The movement speed's very important, especially on Sona, who's pretty squishy. And Howland did tell me that sorry if I mispronounced it. It could be Halen, could be Howland. I haven't actually heard it pronounced before, so. I mean, this looks like it's Van Halen. So maybe it is Halen. That's a cool name. There's also the word Halcyon, though, so I don't know. Now, Zyra doesn't have Ignite, so my thought is that she'll probably be playing like a pansy, so you should exploit that. That tells me if a Zyra or some other AP doesn't have Ignite, that tells me they're scared. Yeah, they're having disconnect wars in the mid lane. Looks like Miss Fortune's also DC'd. Y'all need to go up there and get aggressive. Like, she's missing an entire wave. Harass her. Don't let her get away with that. I mean, you got to be merciless and ranked. I know it sucks when it happens to us when there's a DC or someone's late to lane, but you can't let them get back in the game because there will be some games where you'll have that DC in your lane, and it equals out over time. So if you don't really push them to the max when they have a DC, then you're actually going to be losing out over time. Yeah, you need to be harassing a lot more. I know you're a little scared of Zyra, but like go up and harass the Misfortune. Especially once her plants are down. No, don't use your W like that. You need to wait until you guys have more damage and until you're trading. Like we talked about. You're being way too passive here. You need to get up and get her. Be careful with Zyra. You want to stick most of your damage on the Misfortune. Usually you want to try to get the 80 carry because they will have less potions typically. No, she's not running Targons either, so she doesn't have the Targon build. Yeah, see right there you did heal 2 people, but you didn't take advantage of that shield. You really want to wait, like right there would be a place to heal. Like when you're both taking damage from plants. Just so you're getting the benefit out of that shield too. I know the shield looks small, but it's a lot. It's like half of your total package heal and shield. And now you're pretty much out of mana. And you've used a few too many W's here. I mean, I remember in the email you said that you had kind of wanted to play Janna. I think you're playing a lot more like a Janna here. You need to be more aggressive with Sona, or there's just not really a point in picking her over someone like Janna or Soraka or something like that. So yeah, I mean, you need to be proactive with, like, you need to be Q auto attack harassing the Misfortune in lane. I know Misfortune and Zyra are kind of scary, but like, you've got to get your harassment in there. They backed, so... Oh no, never mind, they didn't. They're just hanging out. You don't need to flash there, because he doesn't have ult. And he wasn't charging his thing. Bit early on the flash. I think if you're scared, like, you can exhaust him and run away, but flash is such an important cooldown, I just wouldn't do it. Like, maybe if he's coming at you charging up his howl, but he wasn't charging his howl. And you were so close to your tower. Your Vayne's gonna have no damage. There you go. That's when you kind of want to use your W there. It's more efficient. The mana costs are just so awful on Sona. Like, unbelievable. The Q cost will help a little bit, but... Be careful, but you need to ward that before you push past it, because they could have been cheesing you in this bush. So you need to walk up and, like, ward this bush. Sona doesn't have a good way to bush check. You need to go back and buy. You need to ping her back and say, I need to buy. And you need mana. Like, you need to tell him right now. Yeah, you should have backed while they were pushed in. Now they're ahead of you on items. Like, really far ahead. So she's got this Frostfang. She's going to be getting a lot more gold. She's going to have more mana. Like, you needed to back right there and get Frostfang and a couple of Fairy Charms. Maybe a couple of Fairy Charms. You could have maybe got a couple of Fairy Charms and a Rejuve Bead, depending on how much gold you got there. But I bet you probably would have had enough for a Frostfang and 2 Fairy Charms. And you desperately need that right now. It is pushing towards you, so... Yeah, that's kind of a bad time to back, because now you're going to miss all of this experience, and they're going to hit... They already are 6, and you're going to be really far behind. And you left her alone, so yeah, she shouldn't have died, but... You can't back when it's pushing into you that much. Because now you guys are losing so much experience and gold at this tower. And, I mean, your tower itself is going to be taking a lot of damage. So you needed to push in here, and when it was pushed in, then you needed to back. You need to ping her back and tell her to chill. Wow, are they just straight up going to get this tower? Yeah, it's a pretty big goof. Wow, so that denied like 2 waves and they got first tower off it. Yeah, she shouldn't have gotten caught, but like I said, that back timing, even if, you know, they don't kill her, you're still missing way too much experience. You're missing like 2 waves of experience if you do that. So, if you didn't back before at that point, you really kind of have to back. Or you kind of have to wait, I mean. Yeah, I really don't like Sightstone here. I mean, that's not going to be a problem on the next patch, but... Yeah, now you don't have your flash. If you didn't flash earlier, you could have flashed out of that. Or if you didn't use your flash earlier, then you could have flashed out of that. If you had, even if you had just exhausted him, you probably would have lived there. Alright, so let's write some of this down. I mean, they're probably on Water Drake. It's very scary to go up against open field Zyra like this, though. I probably would have warded this. I think they're probably just back buying, and then they're going to go Dragon, would be my guess. They could rotate top or do something funky like that, but... Okay, they just went middle. Now, Zyra's not with her, but... Yeah, I think y'all should be able to clean this up. Okay. You go get Dragon. Go get Dragon right now. Drag, drag, drag. You know they're topside. Their jungler's up there because Zyra just killed the thing with him. Rift. So get this. Get this. I think y'all are way too slow on that rotation. Okay, you are getting it. But 10 seconds longer than it needed to be, which means they're probably going to get this tower. I think if y'all did this 10 seconds faster, you could have been like right here, potentially harassing them or scaring them off this tower. But as it stands, because you guys were a bit slow on that rotation, they're going to get the... Well, maybe not. They're getting very close to getting that tower. Pin. Oh, she should have pinned the Misfortune. That was tough. She had the perfect pin on Misfortune into this wall. It's tough. They could activate it right now. They're not activating their rift for some reason. Like, if they rifted right now, they would get this tower. But Misfortune's trolling. It was a huge misplay on their part. Alright, Fairy Charm, pretty good. 8.2, make sure that you upgrade that Frost Fang. I mean, because there won't be a Sightstone, but... I would upgrade it in most circumstances anyways. The thing is, the extra on-hit damage that you do is pretty real. I mean, doing 18 damage on hit when you proc it for the gold is a lot. That adds up quite a bit. Yeah, stay on this tower. Keep in mind, this Vayne does, like, no damage. So you need to be looking at items like that and just understand that you don't want to fight with Vayne right now. I'm going to probably try to play around Zed. She gets the cleanup kill. Because she went vamp into boots, too. Let's look at their items. Zed's pretty big. He has Duskblade. No, auto. Warwick would have died much sooner if you auto. You just got to put your head down and auto a little bit there. When you're in a fight like that, you just got to auto some. Okay. Alright, well now she used it. Okay, good ult, good ult. I like that. Yeah, let's get rooted by Zyra. If you're pretty certain you're gonna die, don't even worry about the flash. I didn't see exactly where he used it there, but... Alright, what do you have? Alright, good. Go in Redemption, I like it. The misfortune's pretty big right now. So just make sure you're always tabbing, looking at items. Trying to figure out who's strong. Ew, Zed's going Blade of the Ruined King second. What? Where's the Ghost Blade, bro? Well, Zed had a pretty good thing going with Dustblade, but now he does no damage. Oh my gosh. How did it even happen? Warwick just ran up, right? And just, like, howled 3 people? Yeah, y'all need to be particularly careful. Yi is pushed up top, so... You don't have heal or shield. Oh my god, Shin went in. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so Shin suicided and Zyra, like, caught 4 people with her E. Right here, you need to be keeping an eye on Zyra. And just, like, make sure you're not going to get hit by her E. Zed's actually the same level as this Xerath now. Alright, you got Redemption. Just run, he's dead. Run near tower. You're probably dead, but you might at least get them to kill you. Or get them to kill themselves while they're trying to kill you. Yeah, I would get boots too here. I'd probably get, I like Ninja Tabi. Like, you need some kind of defense. You died too many times. 6 times is about 3 times too many. So you need to get some kind of defense, either Mercury Treads or Ninja Tabi. I would probably go Ninja Tabi, but I mean Mercs are viable too. They have fairly balanced damage. You need more wards down too. I know y'all have been pushing, you have died a lot. I mean, one of the consequences of dying frequently is that you're never going to be able to get wards down. Just drop wards though. Like, even though you're running through here and dying, like, just drop a ward here, drop a ward here, drop a ward there. Just drop wards as you run. Just so that you guys have some kind of vision there, so you have some idea, like, where they might be. Even if it's, like, in a pretty stupid place. Like, even if it's just a ward here. Like, if you're on your way out, you know you have 3 wards, you're about to die. You know, just, like, ward, like, here, here, and just drop a ward over this wall right here when you're about to die. You don't know. I mean, at least it's giving some vision. It's better than having no wards on the map. It's that way, like, maybe someone tries to split push down here. Maybe Pantheon tries to split push and then tries to back in this bush, and someone can go kill him later. Just make sure that you always have 3 wards on the map. 4 wards, really, with the control ward. Yeah, I think you gotta go Merc Treads. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, you need to assess the situation here a little bit better. Like, you can't just walk up to a Pantheon. Right now, your team positioning should be try to stay close to Vayne. Just hit whoever's going for Vayne. But yeah, just like... Yeah, you gotta wait and just not walk straight up there. Nice redemption. Good heads-up play to use that redemption even when you're dead. Yeah, there's no reason to go back up. Like, they're gonna kill him, you know? Yeah, you need to be thinking, okay, they got him, there's no way he's getting out, but he could one-shot me, so I'm just gonna back up. Like, that should have been the thought process there. Yeah, you gotta kind of take a look at the game state and just be like, you know what? I've died 10 times, so I've got to chill it out. Like, you shouldn't, don't be running up there. You shouldn't be at the front, ever. Like, Zyra's is gonna blow you up. Yeah, you gotta hang out in the back a lot more. Like, in the laning phase, you need to be more aggressive. So you need to be up there in the laning phase, trying to land Qs. But then in the late game, you don't want to be up on front landing Qs. You need to be hanging out in the back, healing, just auto-attacking whoever your AD carries auto-attacking. Vayne's finally getting some damage here. Yeah, watch out for this inhibitor. You don't want 2 inhibitors down. If 2 inhibitors go down, that's a free Baron. You can maybe defend a Baron with 1 inhibitor down. Shen doesn't have teleport or ult, though, so that's still going to be hard. But 2 inhibitors is definitely, they get Baron. Okay, Vayne just got her Infinity Edge. So now she's massive. So just hang out near the Vayne. Just auto-attack wherever she's auto-attacking and just save your ult to try to peel whoever tries to get on her. Probably be Warwick. She doesn't have a Quicksilver Sash, so you need to be looking for Warwick try to ult her. If he does ult her, then you need to ult his ult. Careful, don't get hit by stuff. Just back up. It's fine. Y'all got your wards in there. That's all you really need. Y'all need to probably back up, right? Misfortune DC'd, right? Or am I missing something? Alright, well, I guess Vayne and Yi are getting so fed. They can just take over. Let's go and back up. Yeah, there's nothing really on the map to do right now. Bot has a huge wave. Just keep pressuring middle for a little bit to try to stall out their Baron. You have Mikhail's. No, no, not Sork boots. No. You need, like, Merc treads. You need defense. If you find yourself dying more than 3 times in a game, you really need to get more defense. Like, you need to work on your positioning, but you also need to just be realistic and just say, hey, I'm just getting hit by a lot of stuff. I just need to get some defensive boots. And no shame in that. if you're going to get something that's not a defensive boot, you want mobility boots early, just so you can rotate around and get better vision coverage. But this game, I would definitely go Mercs. They have a lot of CC and magic damage. I mean, Ninja Tabi are also, like, legit, but... As far as Mikhail's goes... Excuse me, I gotta take a nap after this. I got the stream coming up in a minute, but I've just been running on no sleep trying to do the patch notes for 8.2 and cover the new Total War Warhammer DLC that just came out. It's killing me the last couple of days. It's a lot of fun, but I definitely need to sleep at least for 30 minutes here. Anyways, so they don't have a ton of CC. Like, there's really not much of a point of getting Mikhail's here. You can't Mikhail's the Warwick ult. Doesn't work like that because it's a suppress. I mean, I guess you can, like, Mikhail's the fear off Warwick. He gets a fear on somebody, or the Zerath stun. No, not directed camera. Oh, D is for directed, okay. But you need to be, like, realistic with yourself, too. If you aren't immediately cleansing a stun whenever it happens, then you shouldn't be using Mikhail's also. It's a pretty advanced item. Like, you have to know when the skill shot's coming, and you have to cleanse it, like, immediately. But, yeah, I mean, it could, in theory, cleanse a Zyra root or, like, a Pantheon stun also, but... I don't know. I'd probably rather see Locket after Redemption in this game. Because they have so much teamfight damage with the Zyra and the Misfortune. Oh man, that was a good route. Y'all need to leave and back up. There's nothing else you're gonna get here. That was good. It's a good job. Go down here and get Infernal. Like, let Shen go get that. He has teleport, and go get Infernal. No, don't back here. They can see you. I mean, you did get out without them hitting you, but now they know that you backed. So they could be going to set up for Baron, which is probably what they're doing. Because they know you're not there, and if you're not there, it's likely not warded, so... Yeah, backing in the middle of the lane like that lets them know exactly where you're going to be. Which you never want that to be the case. Yeah, I like Redemption here. Or not Redemption, Ardent Censer. I do like Redemption too, but I like Ardent Censer because you have a Vayne and a Master Yi on your team. Yeah, I don't know where they are or what they're doing. Yeah, don't do this with all of them up. I'm like, why? You're basically coming down to, like, just a smite fight. I mean, Master Yi is a higher level, but I wouldn't count on that. They have to have, like, a couple of deep, like, AFKs or something over there. I know that Zerath's had some problems, but I didn't see the Warwick there for a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. It seemed really weird. Why they weren't all there. But y'all don't have Zed. I mean, you can pressure it with Baron minions. Just be careful because you don't have Zed, so... Yeah, it may or may not matter, but... Exhaust, exhaust, exhaust. Somebody. Anybody. There you go. You gotta do it before then, though. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Alright, so let's get some post-game action here. Okay. Okay, so especially when you're Sona, really with any champion that has any kind of poke at all, you need to try to stick it on the AD carry, because a lot of times most AD carries will greed, especially after Relic gets nerfed. Most AD carries will greed for Dora and Shield. Sorry, I'm just moving the camera here. There we go. Somehow it got misaligned, I think. You need to try to land more harass. I know you're a little scared of Zyra, but you have a heal and they don't. So you should be up there pressuring them. And it's a Zyra with exhaust, so she's probably not going to be that intimidating. But yeah, as Sona, you just want to stick as much. Just Q auto, Q auto, Q auto. Just every time that's off cooldown. So really want to trade it. And then, as I mentioned before, when you're healing, you need to make sure that you're taking damage when you use your W, so you're actually utilizing the shield. So if you just heal when nobody's there, you're wasting the shield, which is like half of the power of the effect. So you need to be, when you go up to trade and you have some damage on you and Vayne's got some damage on her, then use your W, it'll heal you both, and you'll benefit from that shield, which will block, you know, part of their auto attack, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up over time. It's, I mean, it's like 50% of the power of that ability. Okay. Okay, so you need to back when the lane is pushed up. So when you had him all the way to the tower, even though Vayne just showed back up to lane, you need to go ahead and back. And you probably could have gotten Frostfang to Fairy Charm, and that's what I would have done, just so that you had better mana management in lane, because you were running out of mana a lot in lane. And some of that was because you were using your W very inefficiently. But yeah, and if you're pushed in, if there are, you know, like a wave and a half crashing into you, don't back. You need to be there to defend your ally. So, like, he just died straight up, like, 1v1 to misfortune to an ult. But that's like an old classic. I'm not sure which elo this is in, but, and, you know, once you start getting into platinum, and certainly into diamond and higher, like, that's a perfect time for the enemy to dive you, is when there are, you know, like a wave and a half crashing into you. So, if you're not there to help the Vayne, you know, they could very easily dive her, kill her, and get tower. Now, they just killed her and got the tower without a dive and without the jungler, which sucks. But, you know, if you had been there, you maybe could have done something to turn that around. So, and even if they don't get kills on your team and take the tower, like, the fact that you're not there means that it makes it a lot harder for Vayne to CS, because they're just going to be harassing her all the time. So she's going to be missing CS, and you're missing experience also by not being there. So you really don't want to back when you're pushed in. Even though you're not the one who's getting the last hits on the CS, you're still missing experience, and you're putting Vayne in a very difficult situation. Now, it's not your fault that she died. She shouldn't have been in that situation. She should not have been caught by that ult. But, you know, you need to know that you're creating a much higher probability situation that something bad's going to happen in your lane if you back when it's getting pushed in. So you want to conserve your flash. You flashed a little too early when Warlock was there. You need to look at his level and see that he's only level 4, so he doesn't have his ult. He wasn't charging up his howl. So, you know, you should have been able to sidestep him, and if you couldn't sidestep him, it's not the end of the world to take a couple of hits or even just to blow exhaust. I mean, exhaust is only like a 2.5 minute cooldown, whereas flash is about 5 minutes. So you need to try to conserve that flash whenever you can. All right. Okay, so you need to ward much more often. And, you know, part of the problem is when you're dying, especially on a champion that just really doesn't have great vision control like Sona, someone who can't check bushes that easily, someone who's pretty immobile, that can get picked off really easily, and you've died a lot, you know, the issue, like, your wards are going to go down, and so you can't go and replace them because it's just going to be a dark map. So I understand that's challenging, but at the same time, you know, whenever you're running through an area, if you don't have wards on the map, just put wards on the map. Even if it's not in the most ideal place, just having any wards is better than no wards. So just, you know, step 1 is make sure you always have 4 wards on the map. You know, if they just cleared all your wards and you died or something like that, just put up some shallow wards. You know, just lightly ward into your jungle. You don't have to go to the best ward spot and ward there every single time. Just put your wards somewhere. And whenever you have wards in your inventory, just make sure those wards are on the map somewhere. Try to be as productive as possible with them. But if you have to put them in some funky spots, like I mentioned last time, it's better to have wards in funky spots than to have no wards anywhere. You know, so just as you're running somewhere, just drop wards. Just say, okay, a team fight's breaking out, walk in there. Okay, I'll ward behind me, make sure we don't get flanked. Okay, we're fighting near blue pit. I'll ward over these walls to make sure they don't have a place to escape and to make sure we don't get flanked. So, you know, just make sure that you're getting those wards down, even if they're not in the most ideal spots. It's because some wards are better than no wards. So you want to make sure that in team fights you're positioning fairly conservatively. Like, you don't want to be on the front line queuing their back line, right? So you're not going to be able to hit their AD carry most of the time. That's not really your job. Your job as Sona is to hang out in the back in team fights, hang out in the back, and then use your green shot to hit the person who's trying to dive your AD carry, use your ult, exhaust, just everything you can to try to protect that AD carry, and wait until they use their gap closer to try to get in there and assassinate before you use your ult to peel them. So just be a lot more conservative later in the game. Be more aggressive early, but be more conservative later. Alright, I think that was about it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had. So I know in your video you said that you were used to playing someone like Janna, I think, and Janna is naturally going to be safer than Sona, so maybe that's why you died so much. You're just used to playing a safer champion. I get that. I had a really bad preseason with Sona. I think I was like 26% in the preseason, whereas the previous season, in Season 7, I was like 54% or something. So just trying to get used to like the new atmosphere and you know, the new power spikes. So like, how much damage does this champion actually do to you? Because Zyra's probably going to do a lot more if she goes in the Sorcerer's Tree than she used to do. I don't have the exact math for that, but I know that it, you know, it tinkered with all of the numbers, adding all of the runes in, and so it's easier to get caught out and killed. But you need to err on the side of being a bit more conservative. Okay, well, that's going to be it. Thank you very much, Alan. I really appreciate it. once again, for anyone else out there that's interested, you can email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. Set up a coaching session just like this. If you want to watch more coaching, I have that there for you. If you want in-depth guides, including a Sona guide, then go into other roles. Now, that's from Season 7, so it doesn't have the new rune stuff. But it just tells you some good things to think about Sona, like what I mentioned about how to use W optimally, how to use Q optimally, different matchups that are good or bad, what's her place in most meta games, that type of thing. So lots of good info there. Be sure to check that out. But that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.